peach gummies. They're delicious. Nom, nom. Why are peach gummies the best, Monkey? They're delicious. All right, hello everybody. Welcome to Houston with a Problem. Peach gummies are calling me, but I'm gonna try to hold back because they take a while to chew. We had a catastrophe. The sticky magnet that holds up our next level chimney collapsed. I didn't realize it, and my chair rolled over the next level chimney thing. But the magnet itself landed on the carpet and is now covered in cat fur and won't stick back on. So I need to order some more sticky magnet, and I can get next level chimney up there. Again, I apologize, Daniel. I thought I had more sticky magnets somewhere, but I have no idea where I put it. Anyway, prayers for the sticky magnet. This one's holding strong-ish. But blank space at the moment. So what's happening? This room is so warm right now. I'm cooking my brain. I had to leave the pee-pee show early because it was just so hot in here when the daylight was happening, and I just couldn't field any more questions. I was like, I gotta go, guys. I got to do a show in 3 hours when it's a little bit cooler. It is not at all cooler right now. It is just as hot as it was 3 hours ago. Anyway, I did the PP show earlier. We talked some BBBY. We talked some MMTLP. We talked some stalkers who have totally, like, apparently I'm not being stalked anymore. Oh. Or maybe saving it all up for one big wowie zowie. I don't know. But here we are. Bed Bath & Beyond had some hearings and filings. We're still waiting for the ultimate filings on whether the reorganization. I've not seen that pop up in the docket yet. Of course, I didn't refresh in the last hour or so. They're going to have an expedited hearing still on the 24th to discuss that, and I think finalize on the 1st. That being said, they're still extending everything until November, and I think this is because they still need to work out leases. So I think the leases are still trickery in trying to get those leases shoveled off onto other entities and figure their costs, and all sorts of weird, contracted people that were doing maintenance and stuff are objecting because they won't necessarily get their contracts renewed and so on. So here we are. And one of these. Yeah. Good. Little primordial pouch. Look at that thing. Look at that thing do jiggle. Huh? Oh, you bite my thumb? I know you love it. You love having your nurples played with. All right. Oh, shoot. Almost didn't turn it off. Ha! Cat and his little jiggly belly. Ooh, distractions. Okay, so. Hit me. Michael Mystery says, whoopee! And then I say that it's hot as Hades in an office tonight. If I struck out, that's why. Yes. Jason Blackwell, Houston. I robbed a bagel shop. I told him, give me all your dough. Get some nice AC like the Lord intended. The good Lord intended for me to have AC. Wouldn't have a window that opens like this. That's where we're at. BTW brand just had to clear the drain line on one of the AC units here. The humidity is crazy. Probably have like things living inside your drain lines there. Chris Collins had a birthday. Chris Collins, put the brambles on your seat back and start to pass out from the pain to wake you up. My body is so used to the sticker bushes this time, it would just feel like home. Oh man, I'm like halfway done with that section of the backyard before I just have a view into the forest. It's gonna be so beautiful. I also destroyed a giant holly bush that was growing back there because holly bushes aren't native. So, wha-cha, down it goes. And also, if you ever had holly bushes grow, the roots just keep popping up more holly bushes, so you have to just destroy everything. F8L Wraith. Houston. can you discuss options trading? This is the one thing that eludes me, and you're awesome at explaining things. We can do perhaps a little crash course on options trading. How should we do it? Should we bring up the old paint? Let's bring up the old paint. Okay, gotta go scene. Gotta go paint. Boom, there's paint. Okay. Calculator, you can go away. You're in the middle of my paint. So, options trading, what you're doing is you're buying a contract. And that contract, if you think the stock is going to go up, guarantees you a price for that stock below what it's currently trading at. So if the stock's $10 and you think it might go to 20, you may buy an option at 15. And when the stock hits $20, you can buy that stock for 15 and make $5 a share profit off every single one of those things. If you think the stock is going to go down, the stock's $10, you think it's going to go down to $2, you can buy a put contract at say $7, and if the price goes down to 2, you can force someone to buy shares from you, 100 shares from you at $7 when it only costs you $2, so you make $5 profit off of it. So I'm not sure what I'm going to draw here, but it's going to be something. Okay, let's see here. Brushes, bing, make sure they're fixed so everyone can read. So let's say let's look at GameStop, right? So GameStop's, it's bounced around the $20 range, goes from like $19 to $24, and kind of bounces around in there at the moment. Let's say the stock price of GameStop is $20. $20, right? And you think a big push is coming. We're gonna get some price action, and it's going up. You think it might go up to let's say you think it's going to $40, right? You think it's going to go up to $40. You could buy an option at $20. You could buy an option at $10, but you're going to pay a huge premium for that, because a $10 call option means you get to buy the shares at $10, which also means the person who has those shares needs to get their money back from it. So you're going to be paying at least $20 a share for it anyway, so you might as well just buy shares as they were. So let's say you buy a call option, we'll say at $25. I really need one of those drawing pads so bad. This mouse thing is not working. So you're buying a $25 call option. And let's say the price is, I don't know, 90 cents a share. So 0.90. Okay, so it's 90 cents a share for a $25 call. And it might be for, let's say August 18th. So for 8/18. Right? So each call option has 100 shares in it. That's how big the contract is. So it's 90 cents a share. So 90 cents times 100, you can pay $90 for that contract. Okay. This means if the price goes above $25, goes to 26, 27, 28, 40, whatever, you will get the opportunity to buy those shares at $25. You paid a 90 cents premium on every single one of those shares. So as long as it's above $26, you're pretty good. And you can sell it back into the market for 40 if you want, because that's what the market's selling for. It's a bet, right? So let's say before the 18th comes around, we get price action, and the stock price, as well, put now on that. Let's say the stock price gets up to $35. So the price gets to we'll say call it then. Then the price gets $35. The value per share, these guys, the cost per share, is likely going to go up about $1 for every dollar over $25 you go. Plus there's a premium. So we might say that the value of this contract at $35 becomes something like $1,200. So $12 a share. So you got a little premium because it made the difference between 20 and 25, and then shot to 35. So we're up $15 on the share price overall. You can make $10 a share right now off of this, or you could sell the entire contract for $1,200. Right? That's kind of the goal. So as long as this happens before 8/18, you're in the money. Now there's a couple of calculations that go into options. You've got things like gamma and theta and whatever. A lot of folks talk about theta decay. And so the further out from the contract date you are, you're going to pay a higher premium because the probability of the stock falling within that range of the call option is greater farther out. As you get closer and closer and closer and closer, the probability of hitting that price point begins to die. And so let's say you buy a $25 call, it gets to like August 12th, and the price is still about $20. The value of this guy right here, will probably drop because the likelihood of getting 25 bucks has now been significantly reduced because you only have a couple of days left. So it might be 25 cents a share, 10 cents a share, something in that area. So that's known as theta decay. If you're over that $25, theta doesn't really matter. Doesn't care one way or the other because you're in the money and you're good. You can exercise anytime you want. Let's say the price doesn't get to 25 bucks and you get to 8/18 and this price is at 24.75. You're like, come on, just close in the money, and it doesn't make it. Then you lost your $90. They're gone forever. The options writer or market maker who wrote that option, they got your 90 bucks. They went, sucker, ha ha ha. And that's the death of it. You can roll over your options. They're probably worth a penny at that point, and so you can get $1 off of your next call option if you so choose. Let's do a put. Let's do a put on UPS. All right, UPS. So we talked about puts on them recently. They're currently trading somewhere around like 180 a share. They have actually quite a bit of fluctuation in their share price. They kind of bounce between like 160 and 185, and they've done that, for it just kind of does this, depending on the seasons and the moods. They got the strike coming up, and you're betting that the price is going to go down if the strike happens. So you're looking at put options, and so this is put our now there now, and you think the price might drop down to like 150 as a result of the strike, because they're not selling anything, they're not moving anything, they're losing money, no one's working, losing market share. People go, and the price will drop. So looking at a $30 drop. If you buy puts at 180 bucks and it drops $30, you just made $3,000 on every single solitary one of those contracts. It's basically $100 per dollar drop in price because it represents 100 shares. So let's say you look at the prices, you're like, well, these $160 puts are $160 put, and you see them for, I don't know, 15 cents. I'm just making these numbers up off the top of my head. Okay, so 15 cents, that's going to cost you $15 for the $100 for 100 contracts, for the 100 shares. So 15 bucks is the cost. Oops, that's a terrible 5. $15 is cost. Theta decay also happens with these, and your goal is the price needs to drop more than 20 bucks for you to get this out. And you can do some math. You can look at the price of them and be like, okay, if I buy a whole bunch of 180 puts, it costs me $300 for each 180 put, and I can afford to buy 10 of them. So if it drops 30 bucks, I just made, $30,000 off of $3,000 investment, right? Or you can look at these, say $15 for that same 3,000. I'll just use this calculator real quick because why not? So $3,000 divided by 15. You can buy 200 contracts. Okay? You can buy 200 of these contracts for the same price you could buy 10 180s. So you're buying lotto tickets at this point. Let's say the price drops to 150. All right, so the price then gets to 150. That's our then, right? You now have a $10 difference between your put contract and the actual price, which means whoever sold you the put contract has to buy 100 shares from you for the price of $160, and you buy them on the market for $150. So you're making about $1,000 or $985 off every single solitary one of these things. You have 200 of these contracts though, because you could afford 200 of them at 160 and 10 of them on 180. 200 times $985 is $197,000. So you can get a crazy return off these lotto tickets. But you buy it, strike doesn't happen, stock stays at 180, you just lost your $3,000. There's no way the price is going to drop because they just offered a new contract, business goes on, everyone's happy, right? So it is a gamble. Every single time you're doing one of these puts or calls, you're doing a giant gamble that you're going to pass your price target and win in the end. It is degenerate gambling unless you have like insider information. About 1 in 5 of my option plays, I win really good. 4 and 5, I lose miserably. Sometimes at 4 and 5, like right now, what might be happening with Finger is I was doing really well and I held, thinking it's going to go more, and it's just slowly decaying again as the price gets pushed down. So I may have missed my window, unless by Friday the stock price shoots like $7 again, and then we're cool. When people talk about things like gamma ramping or gamma squeeze, what they're saying is, we can look at Carvana options chain. Carvana's going gangbusters right now. And I have to go to Chrome, turn on Chrome, click on that, Carvana options chain. There we go. Okay, so Carvana, the price is going knucking futz right now. The price last week was like below $30. They got incredible gamma this week, and now the price is approaching $60. The highest call option for this Friday is $59. So the cheapest call you can get right now is still $236. It's $2.35 per share, and there's a boatload of them. Look at that. This is that's the volume. So open interest. Sorry, they don't have open interest listed at all. That's weird. The volume's there. Lots of volume. Lots of people selling stuff, buying stuff. But a shitload of people this week bought a whole bunch of Carvana at $59. They're buying lotto tickets for as cheap as they possibly could. Maybe on Monday they bought a whole bunch. Each one of these represents 100 shares. So this is 7.9 million shares. Right? And you got another 400,000, another 400,000, a million, 3 million, another million, close to a million on each of those, 1.8 million of those, and so on. That this Friday, if the stock price is above $59, every single one of those will be in the money and can convert to shares and can cause a huge amount of gamma. So if that's 7.9 to 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, through 18, 19, about 20 million shares. Let's just call it 20 million shares. Go in the money. What's Carvana look like? CVNA. What's the volume today? Give me no volume. I'll just go there. Come on. So volume was 115 million. Average volume's 30 million. So that's probably a whole bunch of naked selling happening there and weird high frequency trading and whatnot. But if it closes above 59 bucks and triggers that massive amount, you're going to have 20 million forced buying basically on those options, because a lot of those options get sold and there's no shares to back them up. Because they're like, Carvana's trading at 20 bucks. Of course they'll sell you an option at $59, because there's no way it's going to be $59. And as we get closer to Friday, they're going to go, oh my God, these options might go in the money. What the fudge? And so they have to go out and buy shares to cover those contracts. So that causes even more buying to happen, which causes the price to rise. And then if it goes in the money, that's gamma ramping. If it goes in the money on Friday, then they got 2 days to make good. So Monday and Tuesday, they'll buy like crazy, a whole bunch of shares, causing the price to go up even more, causing more options the following week to perhaps trigger. And you can get kind of a snake eating its own tail in this case as a result. But when they sold those contracts for 59 bucks, they probably wrote those, a couple months ago. Carvana was toast. They were dying. And now all of a sudden, oh shit, we're going to have to actually owe on this crap. And they might not have the shares. So, there you go. Do I need to go more? Did that help? Just know, you play options, and you play way out of the money options, you're gambling. If you're playing in the money options, you have a higher chance of succeeding, but your gains aren't going to be as big. There's a lot of people that when it comes time for like an earnings call, they'll buy just out of the money on both sides, just out of the money puts, just out of the money calls, and whichever way it goes, they can make a profit. It's not a huge profit, but you can double your money rather than like 10x or 100x it or whatever. But yeah, so it's a way of betting. The stock prices are going to go up or down, and the house usually wins. Every once in a while, some people buy things like a whole bunch of $45 calls for $1 each on a stock called GameStop a year out, and then it flies past that by $400, and they're fudging rich when it comes time for them to either exercise or just sell the contract. Because a lot of times it's cheaper for the writer of the option just to buy the contract back rather than have to go on the market and cause even more gamma to happen. So it's like, we'll give you cash. Just take the cash. We don't want to have to deal with this. So you just take your cash and you move on with your life. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So there we go. Jason Blackwell, Houston. Say this line, Jimmy D, if I could rearrange the alphabet, I would put you and I together. So sexy. Well, I guess I said it. Cheers, Jimmy D and Jason Blackwell. Andrew Stewart, if you could lock up anyone in jail, who would you pick? Probably my stalker. There you go. Happy birthday, Houston. This thing going on by that Morantz guy about BBBYQ being delisted tomorrow sounds like BS. I read the SEC form. It says BBBY, not Q. Thoughts? I mean, it's not delisted in that the stock isn't available. I mean, it was already delisted. It was removed from the NASDAQ. So it was delisted from the NASDAQ. It's on the OTC. It's going to remain on the OTC. But because they didn't lose their Q in time, they have to reapply to go back to the NASDAQ. That's all it is. So it's not a done deal. It's not like their stock is no longer going to exist and you won't be able to buy and sell it. It's not going to have a chance to go back to the NASDAQ unless they reapply to go back to the NASDAQ. And they have to meet a couple criteria. The stock has to be above $1. They have to have larger than $50 million, I think in yearly sales or market cap. I think it's yearly sales to get listed on the NASDAQ. And then okay. Brand Houston. The chat from the previous stream went blind when he said you don't trust crypto enough to invest in it. Pointing out the instability in Tether was like a gut punch to everyone. It happens a lot when you point out that crypto is a giant scam that's unregulated and is run by a whole bunch of scammers who are going to scam you. But there are legitimate people in there. I mean, the guy who created Doge to show people how stupid crypto is, and then it got taken over and showed everyone how stupid crypto is, and he was like, oh my god, you guys are so stupid. it was done ironically to teach you a lesson, and no one learned the lesson. But yeah, Tether is a giant. We know Tether is a giant scam. You guys know it. I know it. We all know Tether's a giant scam, and it's propped up the price action for a whole bunch of crypto because it's a scam. I mean, 50 to 80% of Bitcoin was purchased using US dollar Tether coin. Most of that US dollar Tether coin is not backed or was created out of nothing. They just made it up. We're like, you know what? I want to print 8 billion more of these and then buy $8 billion in Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes, woohoo! Right? But is that value real? If you try to sell the $8 billion in Bitcoin now and get your cash back, the cash is gone. It's not there. So there's going to be some sort of comeuppance, and it's going way slower than I thought it would. And for 2 years now, we've known that Tether is a giant scam. We know that everyone at FTX is going to prison, everyone at Binance is going to prison. We know that all these dudes are doing shady shit all the time, and they're still like, by Christmas, Bitcoin's going to be $200,000, which is exactly what they said last year. It didn't happen. It's going to be $1 million by this time next year. Okay. Only, what, 40 million people on Earth have ever bought or used a crypto coin? There's 8 billion people, right? Only 40 million have ever bothered to touch the stuff out of 8 billion people. Of that, over 97% of crypto is controlled by 1% of the owners of crypto. So of those 40 million people who have like tinkered in crypto, only what, 400,000? No, that's 10%. 40,000 of those 400 million control like 90%, 97% of all crypto. So, you know, it's still something that the whales control, just like hedge funds, just like everyone else. And they can manipulate it essentially without abandon. As long as they don't have their offices in the United States, they're pretty good. You can put your offices in Dubai and not have to worry about extradition. You know, you can make your bank accounts in Belize or Bahamas or Caymans or British Virgin Islands and not have to worry about revealing your bank secrets to anybody. So they're gonna keep scamming. And it's your friend, Aloha from Wahoo. Hey, HW, happy birthday. Can you explain what William Morgan posted on Twitter regarding the new info about MMTLP? Like I'm a clueless UPS driver. Which one? He apparently has been talking to members of Congress, I think, and one of the members of Congress either asked for or has the blue sheets. So I think that might have been what he was talking about. Be awesome if they do. Rule those suckers out. Show them to everybody on C-SPAN. Let's all get a good gander. JM, my grandpa works for Continental Can Company, holds patents for the process. Okay, is that because we talked about American Can Corporation, Can Company on the PP show? Honest friend. Hey, by the way, the one where he says, don't read this, not for MMTLP eyes, something like that. Oh, that was the internal like status sheet for when people call the brokers at Schwab. That one. So it's what the phone call center guys see. They go, okay, someone's called by MMTLP. They type MMTLP. It's the frequently asked questions / just tell them everything's fine. That's basically what it said. Everything was not fine. They were sweating in the background, but they're like, just tell them it's fine. Shh. That's what it was about. Andrew Stewart, Houston, are you familiar with the ringing effect when two incredibly flat objects cling together? Yeah. A great way to learn that is your first science class with a microscope. So you have, this is a gem microscope, it's not one for slides, but we can use gift cards. Why not? Got a Mariner's gift card and gift card for a spa I need to use. So you have two glass slides. And you like put a little oil in the slides or whatever, and then you have your blood sample and you pinch them together. In this case, we've got a little more than 2 square inches of space between on the surface area of both of these. So if I had a good vacuum seal here, because I put like oil or water in, I probably would not be able to pull these apart. And that's because, especially if they weren't flexing, and that's because I've got more than 30 pounds of pressure here and more 30 pounds of pressure here. Because we're an atmosphere. We're 15 pounds per square inch in this atmosphere. So I've got a good 60 pounds of pressure my fingers have to use to peel this apart. And so when you have glass slides, the best way to do it is to slide them apart, like so, and then use the leverage to peel them up. So then weird things happen when you get in the vacuum of space. You cold weld stuff, and I still know the physics of that. But so it's, if you ever get a chance with 2 glass slides, a little bit of water between the 2 of them, and just try to pull them apart. Just try. You did. Fuck, I can't do that. Oh, it's so hard. And you gotta slide them apart, and then shoot, peel that way. That was a great lesson. Mr. Dow in my 9th grade physical science class taught us that. It made you realize, holy crap, there's all this pressure all around us all the time. Okay. BBB brand. Oh, sorry. Whoops. There's a super chat here. Meow meow. Your thoughts on this nanoweb thingy? Bullish. Oh, it's the meta thing. I cannot talk. I can talk about internet web. No, it's an MMAT thing, and I can't talk about that. Nice try though, meow meow. Valiant effort. A for effort. Okay, where was I? BBB brand, that's nothing but broker phone people's guidelines for dealing. Oh, you're answering I Not Your Friends thing. Yeah. So cat first, magnetic. Scott Paul and Yahoo Finance posting BBYQ delist effective tomorrow, July 2023 23. That's the permanent delisting from NASDAQ. It's not like removing the ticker forever. Moon on a train across the U.S. for the next 40 hours. Thanks for the show. Well, fantastic. Where are you going to? Where are you coming from? Are you doing the beautiful one that goes to the Rocky Mountains and the Cascades? Or doing one of the ones that goes to the desert and you're like, oh my God, it's so fucking hot. Moon, rank these fastest to slowest: speed of light, speed of sound, speed of smell. I think you have it in order there. Or no, they're talking about like when a smell hits your nose and fires through the electrical system of your central nervous system. In that case, I would do speed of light, speed of smell, speed of sound. But if it's like the rate at which wind blows a smell into my face, then that would be slower than sound. But I think you mean it's the sensation of acknowledging a smell through your olfactory system, it triggering your nervous system and firing into your brain. That stuff works in systems that are approaching the speed of light. So I would say that would beat the speed of sound. But then again, you got really dense materials, speed of sound travels really fast through those too. But not fast enough. Daphne, what is the PP show? It's a show they talk about stocks. They talk a lot about Bed Bath & Beyond. So the 2 times I've been on, I was on back in, I don't know, March or February with them. They have people just churn through there, and they'll go for like 10 hours. It's really long. JR, just saw you sign off the PP show. Great timing. Thank you. Meow meow. Rants throws a lot of shade at Baby or BBBY. He says it's private equity. It's all private equity. Your thoughts? I don't pay attention to anything Morant says because Morant is just a grade A asshole. He is. The interactions I had with him is just him being a giant piece of shit until I had to block him. So I don't really care what he says about anything. He just sucks as a human being, and don't care. I don't think he's right either. I think private equity tried and failed to destroy Bed Bath & Beyond, and they're going to emerge victorious from bankruptcy, reorganize. That's where I think it's headed. And why do I think it's headed that way? Because in their hearing yesterday, they basically said, Your Honor, we struck a deal with our creditors, and we're ready to emerge from bankruptcy victorious. And the judge was like, cool. So, there you go. Avocados, Jason, by the way, it's gross what comes out of drain lines. Shop vac helps. Daphne, I rarely see his tweets anymore. Daphne, am I getting suppressed? Am I a suppressed fellow? Okay. Hey Houston, what's up with your boy Spy? At this rate, all-time highs coming. Craziness. The OB? Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane. Just as the number of single-family homes coming up for rent is just staggeringly skyrocketing at the moment. Rental prices are probably going to drop quite a bit nationally for the first time in a long time. Oh, here he comes. Hey there, Tubbs. What's up? What's up? Hey. You come up? You do a cattail karaoke? You distract you for a moment? Here? Oh, just rub the feet. Okay. All right, weird little weirdo. Yeah, so a bunch of homes are starting to come up for long-term rentals that were previously Airbnbs. And they are flooding a lot of markets. So, because a lot of these folks, the Airbnbs are down. So if they're down 50%, right, they're making $5,000 a month off of their Airbnbs, and now they're making $2,000, $2,500 a month off their Airbnbs, and their mortgage is $3,000. They go, oh crap! So you can put them up for long-term rentals at $3,200 and hope it can cover their mortgages. But what they're going to find is that all these folks are doing it at the same time. It's going to drive the cost of rentals down, and they're going to start foreclosing. They're going to do things to try and keep people from foreclosing, but they'll try to make the mortgages 40-year mortgages, drop the prices down, allow them a year of delinquency without reporting, doing things like that. But in the end, there's going to be a lot of these homes purchased on spec for Airbnb that are just going to be sold with all the furniture inside of them. Just put it that way. There's nowhere else for them to go. Meow meow. Look at this beautiful green color. Background so green, super green, like a lime, green lime. I think everyone wants a green background like Meow Meow. That's what Meow Meow's saying. Steve, what are the odds the BBBY buyers take the company private? They could. Then you own shares in a private company, I guess. But my feeling is they want to do something squirrely. I think the people who are interested want to do something squirrely, something that will I don't know, hurt the short hedge funds more than just going private. Yanni Houston, what do you think? Do you think precious metals are a good investment? Yeah. I mean, if you want to have something that holds value over a long period of time, that's your go-to. You'll just be rock steady. And after everything crashes, have a good pop, slowly go down and be rock steady again. Sis54 MTG just emailed via e-newsletter links to video containing Hunter Biden nudes. The e-newsletter does not have an age screen, possibly sent to minors, all while using taxpayer resources to do it. OMG. Yeah. Revenge porn is illegal. And she just used tax dollars to print out revenge porn and show it in front of an entire committee. I mean, as much as you want to poo-poo the choices, life choices of Hunter Biden, which are pretty shitty. Let's just face the truth here. The guy's had nothing but tragedy in his life. That's no excuse. Character is about overcoming that and being a better human being. But he just, he's got a giant dong and he likes to pork prostitutes, apparently. So, but you know what? MTG just got divorced because she can't keep her own dick in her pants. So, there you go. She's just as bad as he is, probably. She's having an affair with some sort of weightlifting tantra sex guru and not her husband. So, cast that first stone, I guess. Sincere 206, happy birthday, Houston. New old Seahawks jerseys are amazing. If you haven't seen, and what are the tax implications of holding into 2024 if no moss happens before the end of the year? Tax implications are the tax liability goes down. So if you hold something for a year or more, then you're paying long-term capital gains, which is significantly lower than short-term. So you win in the end. But yeah, the new Seahawks jerseys, they're going back to the 80s, 90s style for a game or two, I think, for the Seahawks. It's what I grew up with. I kind of like the Angry Bird helmet a little more than the original one, but nostalgia always wins. Dan Harris, anything after hours on the BBBYQ docket? Well, let's have a look here. Crawl. BBBYQ. Ding. Docket. Anything happening on the docket? Proposed order approving sale of acquired assets, free and clear of all liens, claims, and encumbrances, authorizing debtors to enter into perform obligations under this asset purchase agreement. Blah, 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 blah. No, that's not what I'm looking for. No, it's filing asset purchase agreement with Harmon Retail Holdings. It's probably all has to do with leases, be my guess. Pro HVAC filed. Okay, so this is cleaning service is probably filing a demand that any contract goes to them. Stipulation consent order, stipulation consent order per blah blah. Lease termination, peer-related, appropriate parties, consent order pursuant, blah 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 blah. Approving sales leases, sales of leases, affidavit of service. That's from yesterday. Nothing on here about the restructuring yet. So we're still waiting on that one. So nothing crazy new. So no. Ron Johnson, friend of 25 years, was a cop investigating pedophiles online and in town, and it was out of control. FBI wanted to hire him. He ended up divorced, left the force, and does construction now. Okay. Back to football films. Houston, happy birthday. What's going on with Finger, and is the ultimate total market rug pull imminent? Finger got hammered down yesterday and today, along with my calls. My calls have peaked at, I bought it 300. They peaked at 1850. They're down to like 600 right now. They only do monthlies. There's no weekly call options for Finger. They don't have a very large float, so they do monthlies. It'll be this Friday, and then August 18th will be the next ones. If the price action screams tomorrow and Friday, then a whole bunch of shares can go in the money Friday afternoon. We can get Gamma on Monday. If it keeps getting hammered down, then we'll have to wait till next month to see if anything cool happens. I think that's what we're waiting on. Is something cool gonna happen by this Friday? If not, well, that's where we go. Apache Football Films. P.S. Folks have me scared to rent land for the solar eclipse for 2024 because they said there would be total blackout and possibly electric and water issues because of so many people in a small area. Yeah, you might want to get some outhouses if you're going to do that. So that they're all, I don't know, set up a hose and then they can shower with hose water or something. But the people that were really successful for the eclipse in Oregon were the ones that were next to the rivers. Although I got a bunch of free BLM land and just bathed in the river, and it was great. I didn't have to pay any money for that. But yeah, I might take that into consideration. Yanni, Nordnet won't let me buy IPE. Bucket piece of shit. IEP? Really? That's a standard, like, NASDAQ traded stock. That's weird. They won't let you buy it. G-Font, HW. What's the best way to get Seahawks tickets? Any local secrets? The wife and I might visit Seattle in November. I mean, trying to get tickets through the ticket office, probably already all sold out. So, no hope there. StubHub, Craigslist. One of the StubHub ones might be best because you can actually guarantee that the ticket you bought is the ticket you bought. I think there is also a secondary market the Ticketmaster has. Otherwise, you might have to know a person. I still have never gone to a Seahawks game at it's not Quest Field anymore, Lumen Field. It's too expensive. I've seen soccer games. A friend of mine owns a luxury box, so I've been to soccer games at the field, but never actually seen a football game from there. Last year, you could have got tickets pretty cheap for the first part of the season because everyone's like, "Oh, Russ is gone. The team's gonna suck," and then they ended up doing really well, and people are back on board again, man. So, check StubHub. That might be the way to go. Alvere's happy birthday, Houston. Tofino, Canada, babe. Jason Blackwell, Houston. I have these big 2 options. Do you know anything about them? The strike is $2, but only worth at 1 cent. Oh. Is that... Oh, okay. My guess is those are options from before they did the reverse split. And so the stock is currently trading at $2. And the reverse split was 20-1, which means that the stock should be $40 for it to trigger. So that's probably the problem you have, is that the stock's worth $38 less than that. Therefore, and my guess the B big options are for 5 shares at the moment, not 100, because they went to 20-1, so they can 100, divide it by 20, and then the share price has to be $40 for them to trigger. So they're completely worthless. That's one of the big problems of reverse splits, is it makes those things worth nothing. It's better to have puts, really, 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 really cheap puts that will do all sorts of splits, and then, yeah, then you'll make money off of that. BBB brand, long story short, options are a fast way to gain or lose lots of your investments if there's a big move. Bingo! Yep. I pronounced the name wrong. Dosair? Dosair. Why here? Tropics. So it looks like maybe Southeast Asia? 121 degrees? Bing. Google Earth. Google Earth. Boom. Where are we going? We're going to Indonesia? We're going right there. We're going to what looks like a giant clear cut in the jungle. Looks might be a mining operation. Hutan Adat Suku Mantano. Okay. ETVL Indonesia Mine Development Office. Yep, this looks like a giant mine. So, why here? I don't know why. I don't know what they're mining here, but it looks like a bunch of strip mines. So it looks like strip mines happening all over. They're deforested. They're digging up. I know Indonesia does a ton of nickel. They do a ton of gold. They do lots of sulfides. Let's see if we can tell what they're mining here. It's a really big metallurgical facility. This thing's huge. Look at how big this is. Got all sorts of machineries. Switch for ATG 7 and 16. Sulfur melter plant. Okay, so we're dealing with sulfide metals. this type of plant that you're gonna have to build at the Highcroft mining site. If they're doing sulfides. Fire emergency services, PT Vale, Indonesia, TBK. Okay, so if we look at this guy, what's this guy called again? Can edit Suku Montano. Vale site, PT Vale. Let me look at PT Vale. PT Vale Mine, Indonesia. Leading mineral companies, long-term commitments, PTO breaks ground. That's a nickel project. Okay. Yeah, so it's a giant nickel mine. So what they're getting out of this place is that these are giant strip mines to get nickel. So yeah, there you go. Nickel mine, bunch of nickel there. How it got there? Probably volcanic since it's from sulfides. So it's probably trapped in like the little pyrite type things. And you gotta smash them apart and throw all sorts of chemicals on, pull the sulfurs off, oxidize the irons out, and whatever, and then get nickel left behind. So giant nickel mine. So probably very likely that you nickel you spend comes from this because Indonesia is one of the largest producers of nickel in the world. Are these island? This lake? So we're on a lake. Looks like probably a cute little town. Jetty. Not really any beaches. Probably like 30-foot crocodiles in this thing. Yeah. I mean, it looks really nice for the fact that they got these giant strip mines out here. A lot of farming and stuff. So, there you go. F8L Wraith, thank you for the explanation. I'll stick to blackjack. Senior Chief Keefe, PP Show brought me here. Well, PP all over the place. All you like. JR Houston, how much money do you need to retire as a fellow 40-year-old? How much baby do I need to retire? And how many puts for EPS do I need? I mean, depending on what dividend stocks you put your stuff in, how much you need to retire. Like, I don't need much to live a happy life. I would love to live a much more luxurious life because there's a lot of shit boxes I want to buy and work on, and that costs money. Let's say you want to retire with $200,000 a year. That's comfortable living. Don't need to stretch yourself. Like, why would I go to work? I got $200,000 coming every year. I can still put money away and for that and make more. So, let's say you're looking at 8% returns. All right, time to bring ye old calculator back up for everyone. Let's see, go turn off the Chrome. Go turn off the Google Earth. Go turn off the paint. Turn off the paint. There we go. Oh, I turn on the calculator. Oh, there we are. Okay, so let's say you want to retire with $200,000 a year, right? So this is essentially looking at 8 to 10% returns off of whatever your retirement thing is. So whether it's annuities or dividends or whatever. There are some that do better than others. So you can look at IEP, which is doing returns about 30% right now, etc. But let's say it's 10%, right? That you found a good fund, gives you 10% a year. So essentially, you're going to have $2 million in the bank to be able to do that. $2 million, not in the bank, but into these funds, index funds, dividend stocks, what have you. So $2 million should give you about $200,000 a year. Now, currently with IEP, as we've been talking about, you're getting about 30% returns. So you'll get about $600,000 a year-ish with a $2 million investment in IEP. There's other weird ETFs that are posting bigger numbers at the moment. But again, diversification is probably the safest way to go. You want to put all your eggs in one basket and have a company just blink out of existence on you, and then poof, it's all gone, and you're like back to being a greeter at Walmart or something. So if you want $200,000 a year, you're going to probably need about $2 million in an account. You could just spend the $2 million and get 10 comfortable years out of it, then have nothing left at 10 years. Or you can go in perpetuity, have $200,000 a year to play with. So how much BBBYQ would you need to get to that level? Oh, man. if you've got 20,000 shares of BBBY and the price gets to $100, you'll have 2 million. If you've got 200,000 shares of BBBY and the price gets to $10, you'll have 2 million. If you want to look at the UPS puts, again, this is all speculation because UPS, nothing is set in stone if they're going to go on strike or not, but let's be honest, it looks like they're probably going to go on strike. And looking at weeklies, let's just look at the weekly prices again, because we like looking at those weekly prices. I got to go there. So, UPS options chain. Okay, so we're gonna look at ones for next week. Just because that'll give us a price idea of what, if we're looking at for August 6th or whatever it is, 5th, 4th, August 4th, is that the one after this? August 4th, one after this. So I would probably get options for August 4th, but I'd probably buy them on Monday the 31st for that. Get some weeklies, because that's when you get some crazy price action if they do go on strike. But anyway, looking at weeklies, the price is currently at 185. That's crazy. And we're not doing calls, we're doing puts. So right now, anything below 187 is in the money. Or sorry, 185 is in the money. And I would look at, you get these 160s. Oh, I was actually dang on right, 15 cents. My example, I says, well, about 15 cents. So you can buy a boatload of these suckers. You can buy 200 of these suckers for $3,000, right? And let's say the price drops $30 in that week, then you'll have 200,000 bucks. If you buy, my 180 ones are much cheaper than I was estimated though. I thought the price was lower. For some reason, the price keeps going up. That's probably because people are wanting just a delicious fall. That's probably why. But if you buy a whole bunch of 180s, 83 cents, $83 each for $3,000, you'll get 83. You get 36 of those suckers. So 36 at $83, and let's say it drops $30, so you get $3,000 each on one of those. That'd be $108,000. Not too shabby. A little bit higher guarantee that they'll go in the money because it will easily drop $5 with a strike, right? Our company doesn't exist anymore. Everyone's on strike. We can't do business. Bronk, the price will drop down. But you'll notice at $210, right? So this is $25 higher than it is right now. So $25 price difference is $3,700. So if you get a drop of price in of $25 on this thing, it looks like you'll be at $3,720 per share. Oh, sorry, per contract. So that's pretty incredible. So there could be thousands of dollars be made off those suckers. So you want to get $2 million. I don't know how many. I don't know if BBBY is going to trigger before then because they got that hearing on the 1st. So it may be one of those things that you got to scrape together what you can and play. But I was really hoping BBBY would explode this week with some great news, and then I could dump it all into UPS. But can't win them all. Still gonna go for the gusto though. I'm gonna go for that gusto. I'm gonna gusto all over the place. I'm gonna get as many of these suckers as I can on Monday, July 31st, and just see where it goes. I'll probably get quite a few weeklies that are close to in the money for that week, and then buy some for the following week that are a bit further out. So I get a little bit of theta on them that cost a little bit more, but I'll probably go further out of the money. So if I go like 2 weeks out of the money, I can get, what's 160 at 2 weeks out of the money? 33 cents. 135 probably doesn't stand a chance in hell of going there. But I might get a whole bunch at 33 for 160 and just see, might get a whole big zoom that first week of the strike, and then you can just check out of all of them and be cool with that. But I wish. What's the cheapest on for next week? What is the cheapest put? 1 cent at $95. Buy 1,000 of those. Have them go to like 25 cents all of a sudden. Might be worth it. How far? So it drops $30. $30. That's 165. 30 bucks. 155. So that'd be 11. So if it drops $30, these become 11 cents. Might not be worth it. If it shoots past it, that'd be worth it, but I don't think it will. I'm just rambling to myself at this point. You can ignore me. Carlos Cruz, -20, 166. Okay, this also looks like Asia. But southern, Australia maybe? Control C. Back to that. Back to the Google Earth. Clickety clack on there. Go there, maybe New Zealand? South Pacific, somewhere. New Caledonia? We're going to Penis Island? Oh, we're at Penis Island. Welcome to Shlong Island. Padria Batista. Then nothing comes up when you click it. Oh, you guys can't see. There you go. There's Shlong Island. Shlong Island. Schlonger. Our good old favorite. We've been here enough times. I should start to memorize this one. 166. Big old dingle dangle. We got Shlong Island. We got Vagina Mountain out in like Kenya or Mozambique or something. There's also the naked lady in, is it like Poland? Naked lady in the building who's like going down on someone. Yeah, Shlong Island. Things are looking up. That dick points north. Just follow the Shlong. It goes due north. Just bends that way. Carlos. Oh, reset of the chat. Where are we? Did that one. We did. Aaron Soundteen, well. How did your Carvana calls print? I was right. Shorts just squeezing themselves. Shorts cover, then other shorts come in short. So when shorts are cover stock hits $60 high. I did not buy calls because I bought more BBBYQ. If the stock closes above $59 on Friday, I will buy whatever calls I can find for Monday. I'll buy them Friday after tomorrow, Friday afternoon, and shoot for whatever gamma is going to happen Monday, and then get out. And then I'll hopefully use that for my UPS puts. That sounds like a plan, right, Kat? Kat agrees. He's like, that sounds like a plan. So we're going to go with it. We're going to do that as a plan. Ron Johnson, happy birthday, Houston. Not financial advice. I'm buying options for a stock Houston can't talk about. January 25th. Can we get Jamie replay? They got to get it above $1. They'll do it by September sometime. Aaron Salentin calling right now. Planter is the next Carvana. $18 right now. CF50 in 6 to 8 weeks. Planter is. I wish horrible things for them because they're related to what's his butt? Peter Thiel, and that guy's just fucking evil. He's a Bond villain straight up, and I bet there's like sub basements and volcano layers where Peter Thiel is doing evil stuff as co-founder of that company. But anyway, they're probably well squeezed because they were shorted quite a bit, and they get talked up. They are a member of the meme stock family, that's for sure. JM International Moon Day tomorrow.
Yeah, Kitty, celebrate. Celebrate, you little chunker. Little fat belly cat. Look at her. Going to the moon.
Right, Kitty? Filthiness? Houston, I was doing DD on the stock RKLB. It's been running. They use smaller rockets for different space missions. What does your crystal ball say about small rockets going in the future? Someone else mentioned this one a while ago. I don't remember what. RKLB. Rocket Lab USA. So, about $7. Where are we? Get around the penis here. Long. So 738. What we've been doing 6 months. Oh, it's gone up quite a bit. So it was at $4 back in April, and we're at $7.93 today. Not quite where the high was. September 2021 at $18. So it went. So I know nothing about Rocket Lab USA. Rocket Lab skyrockets after launching 7 satellites. Well, they just proved they did the proof of concept, so I guess that's why the price is going up. WHC Rocket Lab stock climbing after doubling this year. Rocket Lab shares rise after deploying satellites. So they're doing what they should be. So there you go. Ta-da! Ta-da! Welcome to Rocket Lab. Yeah. But there's going to be a need for a lot of rockets. Excuse me. To send satellites in space, because microsatellites are becoming more and more common, so you don't need as large payload rockets to get them up into orbit. Individual launches, I'm not sure if they'll be cheaper per kilogram with small rockets, but they'll be easier to manage. It's like, buy things in bulk, price goes down, right? You get individually packaged stuff, the price goes up. So it may be convenient, but not necessarily cost effective. So we'll see where those two things meet. That's why these rocket companies are trying to build bigger and bigger rockets, because the price per kilogram of payload drops significantly with a larger rocket. And if you want to launch a whole bunch of stuff into space, such as a giant web of Starlink satellites or pieces for a colony on the moon, you want huge rockets for that stuff. But there is a market for little guys, because not everyone can wait until a huge rocket's payload capacity fills out and they can do a launch. Sometimes they need a launch now. Launch it now with small rocket, go. So that's probably what they're going for. Video brand. Every video has someone telling Marantz how to be a better and more agreeable person, and refuses to do so. He's against the world in his head. Yeah. He went from begging to come on my show and me oh, let's find out who this guy is. And within a day, he was like, fuck you, you piece of shit. I'm like, whoa, buddy, I guess you don't want to come on my show now. Block. So, yeah, I just don't deal with him. Motion train ride is Amtrak Empire Builder, Chicago to Portland, and another day to get Southern Oregon, attempting to finish my final 600 miles backpacking Pacific Crest Trail, Northern California. Way to go, Moon. Do it. I hope you get to see the Rockies during the daytime on that ride, because if you're passing the Rockies at night, well, they failed you. So, and have a great time. Finish up the Pacific Crest Trail. That's a big deal. Aaron Salentine, my eyes keep turn red when I keep seeing Lind Capital shorting finger. How does prime broker Jeffries allow them to continue? They are at 660 million shares naked shorted. They added 10 million. Moon did 2,000 miles 2018, but had to skip NorCal due to fires. Hopefully none while I'm out there, and hopefully MMTLP remains quiet till mid-September. California fire season starts to pick up next month, so hopefully get out of California by then. There can be grassland fires starting to happen in Oregon, end of July, beginning of August. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but I hope you get through. So far, the fire season out west hasn't been terrible yet, but it's been really dry. Last time it rained was sometime in June. Sometime in the middle of June, we had like 2 days of rain. Has not rained since then. So they were calling for rain yesterday, and it got sort of cloudy for like an hour, and then it was hot as hell again. So that didn't materialize. But you know, just be careful if you like campfire. That's all I'm saying. Ron Johnson, 9-year-old, loves your show and brought this one home. What do you call a fish with no eyes? Psh, that's an oldie but a goodie. It's like, what do you call a lady with one leg up against the wall? Eileen. What do you call a deer with no eyes? No eye deer. Classics. Is that Godzilla behind you? That is Godzilla behind me. And he's got 2 eyeballs in his hands. I think came from Mystery Michael. In one of his weird care packages he sends full of, it's like eyeballs and a whole bunch of Scotch sponges, which I am still using. They're fantastic. Those Scotch sponges are the best. J. King Houston. Good morning. Great to catch a late night. Question is, what do you think about the phrase I seen on YouTube, goodbye to graphene, hello to borophene? Does this change plans for GMGF? I have no idea what borophene is. Is it borax related? Borophene coating. 2-dimensional 2D material that has shown outstanding applications in energy storage, recent devices. In recent years, borophene has been identified as a rising star in materials chemistry for the development of sensors, batteries, and energy devices. Oh. Let's see what you're all about here, huh? Can we... This review provides an overview of synthetic strategies preparation for borophene nanostructure particles, as well as their properties, mechanical, thermal conductivity, magnetic, structural, optical, and electronic. Further applications of borophene nanostructure materials as sensing, battery recharge, hydrogen storage are discussed. Finally, we discuss the summary and future perspectives of borophene nanostructure materials in multidisciplinary research. Okay. Oh, I have to sign in. Crap. I don't have my call. Oh, $42? Nope. Borophene stronger than graphene. Atomic structure is a consequent of interplay between two-cellular, multicellular, in-plane bonding, which typically, for electron-deficient elements like boron, borophenes exhibit in-plane elasticity and ideal strength. It can be stronger than graphene, more flexible in some configurations. Let's read the Wikipedia of it. Okay. Crystal atomic monolayer boron. It's a 2-dimensional allotrope of boron, also known as boron sheet, first predicted in theory in the mid-1990s. Different borophene structures were experimentally confirmed in 2015. Okay, so they have a way of building it yet. 2015 two research seen successes in synthesizing different borophene phases of silver on silver surfaces under ultra high vacuum conditions. 3 borophene synthesis. Okay, what's another borophene? Okay, so it might be the future, but it does not sound like people can really build large sheets of it yet. 2021 researchers announced hydrogenated borophene on silver substrate dubbed borophane. New material was claimed to be far more stable than its components. Hydrogenation reduces oxidation rates by more than 2 orders of magnitude after ambient exposure. Okay, experimental evidence, formations, stacked biolayer, trilayer borophene sheets, first observed CVD growth borophene layers. Soon after that, creation of 2-layer borophene was announced August 21. All right, sounds like it's in infancy stages. It's probably where graphene was 19 years ago. So it might be the future, but graphene has got 20 years on at the moment. So that's if it replaces graphene, cool. Depending on how it gets built, I wouldn't doubt if a company like GMG uses the success of graphene batteries to jump on something like this. So yeah, cool. I'm okay with that. New tech, baby. If anyone creates a battery company with borophene, they can prove that they can manufacture the crap. Right on. Macaron after party. Or macaron. Hey, good to see you on PP Show. Well, good to see everybody else on PP Show. Carlos Cruz got another spot for me. Where's this one? Is that the one that you sent before? No, that's a different one. Where are we going? Where are we going? I'm always curious. Here after dark. I'm gonna go somewhere in the world. Where are we headed? Going across the globe. Wait. Oh, shit. Nope. That's -11. I should have known that. We're not gonna go there. Damn it. You almost got me. 21, -11. Houston. Dude, you fall for this shit every single time. No, we're not going to the Eye of Africa. Houston, how come they never tried using nuclear bombs for mining? Would come to my mind a lot sooner than nuke-based space travel. They did conceive of using nuclear bombs for mining. The problem was it was hard to keep material from being completely murder ready and basically poison everybody who would be involved. There was a whole series of bombs that were designed for nuclear bombs for mining. Yeah, atomic demolition munition. That's not just the landmine ones. Not peaceful nuclear explosions, large emitter craters, canals, ports. Yeah, that's what it was. Peaceful nuclear explosions. So, get away from what could have been an Eye of Africa disaster. So, U.S. and Russia in the 50s and 60s tried figuring out like peaceful ways they could use nuclear explosions and still like test their weapons. So like, hey, what if we go to this island and we detonate a giant megaton bomb and we carve out a harbor for everybody? Wouldn't that be peaceful? And then they would do it and they're like, wow, the radiation's so bad, no one can live here. So, yeah. So they want to do excavations for create reservoirs, ports, canals, stimulating oil and gas recovery, creating cavities underground oil waste storage, extinguishing gas field fires, space propulsion, interception of potentially dangerous near-Earth objects, recovering oil from shale. That's what they use fracking for now. Energy production via molten fluorides underground, producing steam for electricity, breaking up copper and phosphate ore, preparatory for mining. So they did try it. The problem was that it kept creating nuclear wastelands. And they're like, oh, it turns out you can't use a giant nuclear bomb to mine this material because all the material becomes radioactive and you can't use it for anything. But yeah, they tried it. Yeah, plowshare program, that was the main one. Using nuclear bombs as plowshares. It's peaceful, right? It's a peaceful nuclear bomb. Read about these things. They're pretty goofy, some of the stuff they came up with. Early proposal Operation Chariot accepted in 1958 to build a harbor at Point Hope, Alaska to facilitate transport of coal and oil. Harbor is built 1.5 kilometers long, 8.8 kilometers wide. One scheme for development involved the use of 5 chained thermonuclear explosions. The plan was permanently shelved in 1962 during the local population being like, no. Oil stands steady. Looked at extracting oil from Canada's Athabasca tar sands, and the oil shale study looked at shattering oil shales to enhance oil recovery from them and taking further back in the 1960s. So this is what they used fracking for, so it didn't happen. They wanted to do Division Highway and Santa Fe Railway, wanted to cut a chunk of Interstate 40 for a new rail line using 22 nuclear explosions. Basically carved down some mountains with it. Yeah, so no, they ended up not doing that stuff. It's hilarious though what they're like. Oh, you know, we're gonna use nuclear bombs for it. We'll just remove this mountaintop and everything will be fine. And fallout will rain down upon everybody. And yeah. DeSera said to see the destruction, but we need the nickel. We do. We use nickel in all sorts of things. Pete Donnelly 84. Hi Houston. Have your thoughts on DRS or holding GME shares in brokerage account been moved by GG's comments regarding plan versus book? They gotta buy them either way, man. That's my opinion. So, like, yeah. DRS thing's a pain in the butt. And I just don't care. I mean, since the DRS movement has taken over, price action has essentially stalled. We used to get fluctuations of hundreds and hundreds of dollars on the stock. Everyone's like, what's DRS? And now the price does this. And that's about it. Ooh. So I'm not seeing any benefits out of this giant DRS movement. It seems to be like a non-issue so far. BW Brand, do you think graphene batteries will be the common battery in the future or something else? That's your answer. I think they'll be the common battery of the future. I mean, Toyota has plans to have them in their cars by 2027. Kevin Wynn is a monkey butt admirer. Monkey butt, where are you? She's asleep over here, barely raising an ear that I've talked about her. So we need a Super Batman FUPA admirer phase. Right, look at that. Look at that thing. Those nurples. Oh, you just fat tub. Yes. Oh, you're such a chunker. You're so good to scratch because you just sit there and take it. Unlike other cats who like, you scratch for too long and eat you. No. Jazz arch the back. It feels so good. That's the most activity he's had all day right there. But welcome, Kevin Wynn. I always forget to plug. Join, be a member. Come be a member of Houston Have a Problem. And enjoy the benefits of being green and supporting my habit of reading everyone's messages all day long and all the articles you guys send me is a lot of reading that gets done throughout the day. I mean, I'm murdering blackberries during the daytime a lot, and I gotta stop, read about 5 articles, and then go murder some blackberries. It's a great way to cool off during the day. But yeah, thank you for joining. Thank you for becoming a member. I encourage everybody to become a member. Where's Monkey? She's hiding right there. She's behind everything. I don't know if you can, there's her head. There, you can see her. That's a monkey butt right there. Yeah. I'll see you, cat. Later, loser. Okay. No. Says apparently nuking a meteor into hitting a planet to deliver resources is like the best thing you can do. Yeah. Devastator Omega. Daily reminder, Elon's dumber than a rock. Told me again. He is. Oh. Just because someone's rich doesn't mean they're smart. SP is the post-Moss party on Penis Island. Hey, if you get to Penis Island, let's whoop it up. Go to Shlong Island, and just have a great time. Project Orion. Nuclear explosions for railroads is a big thing for a short period of time. Yeah, they totally thought they're going to do that, and people are like, let's not bomb everything. And people are like, but they'll scientists like, well, it would be really fun to just like blow that shit up. And we're like, conventional. So person who has no name whatsoever, it's just a blank space. So space name. So BBYQ have to wait until November for all to settle out in court. Seems like a little long to complete bankruptcy. Actually, incredibly short. Restructuring bankruptcy, 18 to 24 months, oftentimes. This is pretty. This is going pretty quick. As far as the collateralized debt is concerned, they're done. They've reached an agreement with the collateralized debt folks. They're done with that. They're just now trying to figure out how to jettison leases and find folks to take on those leases and pay for them. It's a little hard because commercial real estate isn't worth spit anymore. So you get leases pretty cheap. So I'm not sure how much eating of the loss in those leases the bankruptcy court's going to make the landlords take. My guess is quite a bit. So, see where it goes. Video brand, the thing about the Alaskan Harbor nukes was they told people they're against the idea. It was just an idea, but they already had the nukes in place. American government. J.M. Houston, what's the greatest recent intellectual discovery in science or mathematics in your opinion, or what would you hope to be the new discovery that would be useful to mankind? Most recent one, we talked about this a while ago. The most recent one is probably graphene. which was theorized but didn't actually get created until 2004. And maybe this boring stuff might supplant that. But most like tech we're using today was created in the last century. That's recent wise. As far as great inventions over the last, I don't know, 100 years or so. There's a lot. But there's like subtle ones people don't really think about, like iodized salt. Iodized salt saves more lives than probably anything since either washing hands or vaccinations. If you don't know about iodized salt, your thyroid requires iodine. And if you don't get enough of it in your diet, you get this weird craving to eat dirt. Because if you don't get iodine in your thyroid, you grow goiters, these like giant testicles off of your chin. Nuts in your chin, basically. And if you ever look at pictures of goiters online, you go, whoa, I don't want that growing on my neck. But the goiters are a result of iodine deficiencies. You get these incredibly inflamed thyroids as a result. Another thing they discovered with the addition of iodine to the diet is that if you have something like a nuclear disaster, like Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island, a nuclear bomb goes off, a whole bunch of cesium, radioactive cesium gets released in the atmosphere, and part of the fallout that affects people the most is if you're breathing that in, that cesium occupies the part in your thyroid that would normally be occupied by iodine. So if you are in a zone that's going to experience fallout from a nuclear disaster, you're going to want to ingest a whole bunch of like iodine tablets to max out the iodine in your thyroid so the cesium passes through your system and doesn't end up in those nodes in your neck. That's, big deal. Don't have to eat dirt. Don't get goiters. Don't get radioactive cesium built into your thyroid so you get crazy cancers. Other cool inventions. I'm really warm. I'm drawing a blank right now. I'll come back to more. How about that? Citizen 54, the fake electors have been charged. How serious are things getting? Trump is desperate and sees re-election as the only exit. Will he make it? Well, didn't his lawyer tell him that his only hope of avoiding prison is re-election? He is desperate. And he let a Freudian slip the other day in one of his Truth Social posts where he referenced top secret documents he still has. Not had, have. The documents I have or shouldn't be a big deal. So he's saying that he still has some because he's a doofus and all that stuff can be used in court against him. So they'll be like, it says here that you say you still have documents. So where are they? And he'll be like, and if they find more, then he's really screwed. So it also on January 6th, the January 6th coup attempt, he got a letter this week from the independent counsel saying that he's now a target of that investigation, and he had a meltdown as a result. Because my guess is that they've got people testifying like, we planned this with Trump, this whole thing, overthrow the government, have Mike Flynn's general brother help us out, blah blah blah. So, I think it's a little. Michael David, nice shirt, Houston. Thank you. It's a good shirt. So I like the shirt. It's got an inlaid pocket. So they took the fabric, cut a slit, sewed a pocket inside so it matches. So it's like very subtle. It's got just like a little line of blue sky. It's a good shirt. It's plastic and it's very warm on a day like this though. Kevin, hello. Hello, Kevin. Javier. Good evening, Houston. Nice to catch you live. Did you see Tesla and Netflix dump after earnings reports and calls, drag the market down, but a sneaking pump for after hours close, SPY 52 high? Yeah, Tesla has not sold any Bitcoin in a while. They used to basically pump their earnings report by selling a bunch of Bitcoin, but look how much money we made. And everyone assumed that they're selling cars, and really they were just selling Bitcoin. But their Bitcoin at the moment, a lot of that Bitcoin is purchased at about where Bitcoin is selling for right now. So I'm not sure they would sell for a profit. They may as well hold on to it at the moment, be my guess. So yeah, they supplement a lot of their earnings with that. Citizen 54 is an Elysium type structure realistic? Space terrarium? It'll be expensive as hell. That's what Bezos is trying to do. He wants to build a hotel in space. You know, have some spinning discs for simulating gravity. Have rooms. Probably cost you $2 million to go up and stay for a few days, maybe more. I mean, it's about $2 million right now to take one of those little rockets and have a little joyride into space and back. Yeah, so they're building towards that. That's probably a large portion of what's going to fund future space exploration. Is space tourism first. That builds enough money to build more mining operations, which will then bring in the big bucks later. The person with no name. So, the BBBYQ August 1st hearing finalized everything, but the leases basically should be good for continued slow price climb like we've been seeing, I guess. That's where I think it's heading, is that they need a couple more months to finalize the leases, but it sounds like they've reached a deal with 6th Street on the collateralized debt. We don't know what that deal is. Where I was hoping that that'd be filed yesterday, and then it wasn't filed today even. So there's a hearing on the 24th about it, and another hearing on the 1st. So I guess maybe this weekend we'll see something, and they'll chit chat about it on Monday, and then the next week chit chat some more. I don't know. Javier hoping for a dump, but regardless, I have 2 calls to balance my 4,456. Oh, sorry, 456 puts. You're talking about SPY. Hope it breaks down and need some more GME. Got into T. It hasn't been this low since the 90s. T. Got into T-yacht. I don't know what that last sentence is. Javi, my brain's too cooked in this really warm room for me to break anything down. Citizen 54, puts are scary to me. How do you minimize exposure? I do not want to be exposed to infinite risk. You don't get exposed to infinite risk on... Oh, AT&T. AT&T. That's... Okay, that makes more sense, Javi. Citizen 54, puts are scary to me. How do I want to be infinite risk? You know, if they're in the money, you make money. If they're not in the money, you lose what you paid for them. Unless you're selling puts. If you're selling puts, that's a different thing. If you're selling puts, you are selling that you will buy those shares at that price, which you cannot do unless you have that money in your account, or at least have a large enough margin to take that gamble. So yeah, selling puts are completely different than buying puts. I would not gamble with selling puts on volatile stocks at all. I would leave that to market makers and folks who are rich. Don't sell puts unless you are a cajillionaire, because the infinite risk can really get you. I was reading about a guy who sold puts and got absolutely screwed. What was his puts on? There was a Reddit post about how he owed like $1 bajillion and had no idea what he's going to do. He had sold puts on something that absolutely crashed hard. What was it? Shit, I can't remember now. It was like last winter. And I remember seeing the post on Reddit, and he owed like $2 million because the stocks crashed so hard. He had to go buy 100 shares for each one of those put contracts he sold, and he didn't have the money. Nowhere to be found. So they're gonna take his home and his parents' home and his grandparents' home. He's screwed. Yeah. Covered calls can be profitable, especially if you're selling on something that's not very volatile. It's got a little bit of volatility, but so just the weeklies, just out of the money. But if the price rockets, you're out all the shares, and you got to use that money and wait for the price to drop back down again and buy back in. A covered call. So let's say you have 100 shares. You have enough shares to make a contract, right? So you can sell a call contract for the shares. Say you have 100 GME shares, and GME price is, I don't know what is GME at today right now. I keep saying it's $20, $24. That's always just seems to be where it is recently. GME is at $22.97. Okay, so it's 23 bucks ish around there. And so you have 100 shares and you want to sell a call contract. So you can sell a call contract, let's say at 25 bucks, right? And you make $100 off of it. The price doesn't hit $25 when the contract expires. You get to keep that 100 bucks. You can buy more shares with it, right? But the contract does reach 25 bucks. You have to sell 100 of your shares for $25 each to whoever purchased that contract from you. So there's a lot of folks making great money selling covered calls because they're doing weeklies. Every Monday they post a contract, sell those suckers for $100 for every 100 shares, and allows them to buy 4 or 5 more shares every week, every 100. So they're essentially getting a 4% return weekly off of selling those contracts. So they turn the 100 shares to 104 shares, and so on. The next time they build up, and after if they keep buying more shares, they get to another 100. They sell in 2 contracts. Now they're increasing 8 shares every week, and so on. But just know that if it reaches the price that the strike price that your contract is for, your shares are gone. Poof, they're gone. And you're gonna have to buy back in. So there you go. Blank, no name, favorite YouTube show, by the way. Thanks for all the great info. So many topics, not just stocks. Thanks to you guys asking questions other than just stocks. Which, I could not do a show where I could just talk about GameStop for 2 hours straight. I can't do it. Some days there's cool news. We can talk about it a lot. But, if I was doing the same show over and over and over again since 2021, and I just buy and hold, RC, poop emoji, and I would feel like that lady who's like, gang, gang, ice cream good. And I can't do that. But I like the fact that you guys keep me on my toes and constantly send me to Shrug Island in the Eye of Africa, and we do other things. I reached the end. I did. I'm at the end. Yay! So treat time. Yeah, probably treat time. Oh, instantaneous. Instantaneous is treat time. For the monkey chunk with the crinkly bag. Oh, that's a broken one. Gotta get it. There's another broken one. Okay. So it's going to feel like 3 treats to you because you eat these things so fast. Even though it's really just 2 treats. Just one's broken in half. You ready? Small treat number 1. Come get it. Oh, yeah. Small treat number 2. Come get it. It's up here. Oh, there you go. What a good reach. And of course, Jaws Cam. Yeah, it's made her day. That's what she lives for right there. 10 seconds of glory. Woo! Is that good, monkey? Yeah, she's a happy dog now. Treat time. System 54, how would you even mine helium-3? Isn't it a gas? Moon fracking? So how helium-3 forms on the moon is basically you got nuclear reactions happening inside the sun. Hydrogens smash together, create helium. There's also some other interactions. You have helium smash into hydrogen, you have barium smash into helium, whatever. You can make all these different types of elements out of these reactions. Now, sometimes you get an isotope of helium known as helium-3, which is 2 helium atoms, two protons, and 1 neutron. So normally it should be 2 protons, 2 neutrons, helium-4, that's your stable helium, and you get this radioactive isotope that's helium-3. It's stable for quite a long time, but it's an isotope. Now, the sun is constantly exploding, and every once in a while, gases get enough oomph in them that they actually escape the atmosphere of the sun and get blown away by the photons and charged particles of the solar winds. Now, when those particles, which can consist of helium-3, come through the solar system, they hit our atmosphere and bounce off because our atmosphere is much denser than simple little helium. On the moon, there is no atmosphere. So when it hits the when it hits the moon's surface, it has a charge to it, and it's positive charge, and it can statically bond to the dust of the moon. So for the last 4.5 billion years, the moon has been collecting helium-3 dust. It's just been hitting the moon dust and sticking, hitting the moon dust and sticking, over and over and over and over and over and over again. So basically, what you do, and this is theory, we've done it in labs and stuff, but you scoop up that moon dust, throw it into a container, and then you give it a good shake, maybe run a positive charge through it, release the helium atoms, pump gas into that, helium rises to the top, collect it. And then you collect all that atmosphere of helium-3. You then distill it with freezing temperatures, so you make liquid helium out of it. Then you put it into tanks, you ship it to Earth, and you make your nuclear fusion process happen from that. There's a whole bunch of designs of how to gather up this helium-3 and basically shake it out of the dust. And then you spit the dust back down, and it'll collect more helium-3 over the next few billion years. But essentially, over the next 10,000 years or so, humanity is going to have scooped up every bit of dust on the moon, given it a good shake, just jerk off the moon real hard, and it'll spit out some helium-3, and then we ship it back to Earth, where we will use it to power our society. That's essentially what the next 10,000 years are going to hold for us. So we're going to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of generations of people living on and or traveling regularly to the moon to do this whole process. There you go. Ta-da! Right, monkey? She's like in food coma now. Javier, worst year in history, 537? Apparently so. Yeah, volcanoes blot out the sun. All the food didn't grow, and they all starved to death. Yeah. Devastator Omega. Suggestions on passive income not involving the rigged casino stock market. Sell crack? That's more active, that's not so passive. Being a landlord right now is probably a terrible idea. Passive. Pimp? They're doing the work. You're collecting the royalties, right? You can go out and you can purchase the rights to popular songs, let them play everywhere, and make some money that way. My friend Jerry Denon, may he rest in peace, was the owner of Jordan Records, and Jordan Records owned the rights to the Kingsmen, the Sonics, the Ventures, all sorts of bands that came out of Seattle in the 60s, and it made him a pretty good living. It's a pretty good passive income, having the rights to something. You can buy a chunk of land that has mineral or energy rights in like North Dakota or something, and have an oil and gas company pay you to suck up the oil. What other passive incomes? You can do an OnlyFans where you just show people your feet. That's not too much work. You just show your feet for a while and they give you money. Yeah. So there you go. Ron Johnson, anyone win the Powerball? I bought 2, and if I win, I'm buying $100,000 on GME. I'm at work. I left my tickets at home. Oh, I have tickets. You know, when the price gets high enough, I go, you know what? It might actually be worth it to buy a ticket now. So I've got my tickets for Powerball and Mega Millions. They're both crazy high right now. So I'm going to win both of them, and we'll go to Schlong Island and have a party. So just letting you know right now. Dr. Spurgeon, the Sturgeon Surgeon. Houston, is it dangerous to hold a bundle of spent uranium? Depends on how spent it is. So, like, holding just straight up uranium ore, totally fine. You don't have to worry about that. Holding enriched uranium, that has a lot of energy. It's gonna do some damage to you. Depleted uranium, not that bad. It's giving off helium atoms. As long as you aren't ingesting it, you're probably fine. But like spent uranium, it really depends on how spent it is. If it's truly just spent and there's no enriched uranium in there, then you're probably good. You know, I wouldn't eat it. I wouldn't hold it for long. You know, but I would avoid most chunks of enriched material in general. It's, you know, probably best for your testes to do that. Citizen 54 sounds like it could be automated remote control, live off the surface. Yeah. No, the idea is largely you have some maintenance people living on the moon, some folks working in processing plants. You make sure everything's packaged and sealed up. But it would largely be like robot crawlers go out and just fill up their tanks with helium-3, come back, deposit them in the factory, get a little maintenance tune-up, sent out to go again. Moon dust is awful. It will gum up and break all sorts of things. It's basically little tiny shards of glass. So it's from when meteors hit, boom, they explode the surface, splatter all this material in these little micron-sized pieces of molten material, then refreeze into just tiny little razor blades, and then rain back down on the surface. So it's really light and fluffy like volcanic ash. Volcanic ash will tear your shit up. It looks nice and fluffy, but it really, deep down, they're just tiny little razor blades, slicing them in micro slices and everything. So the biggest problem with things on the moon was basically the degradation of that dust getting into everything and just slicing stuff apart. So like the spacesuits the astronauts wore were actually kind of like these weird hard plastic things on the inside that had like mechanical joints, and they're pressurized, and they would fill with air because you're trying to keep a pressure on the human body without it exploding in the atmosphere. And then the outside, the white part you see is, you know, it's like Tyvek or nylon or something that'd be on the outside, and it's still woven. It's still like little tiny weaves that happen, and that little dust gets inside and starts to just sever, cut everything. And then once they get cut enough, then that little dust starts to go in the mechanical elements of like the joints, and it starts to fill them up and like cut into those things. So the fear was if people were on the moon too long, that their suits would degrade, dust would get into the moon suits, and then they would depressurize, and that would be the end of them on the moon. So I'm not sure if we've come up with ways to really keep that dust from gumming up lots of mechanical systems, getting inside of motors and things like that. It'll be interesting to see what we come up with to protect all that machinery and people and air systems and everything else. That dust is going to be everywhere. J. King, thanks for the throw answer on Borofine. Well, welcome. Dr. Spurgeon, the sturgeon surgeon. Brianna went on a field trip with my school when I was a kid, and they let us hold a bundle of uranium. The 80s were a different time. I'm sure if they let the kids handle them, that was like super spent, and it was probably okay. Javier, what was the issue with Blue Origin failure launch? It wasn't a failure to launch. It was a test engine that blew up. So it wasn't even attached to a rocket yet. They just had it on a mount to turn the engine on, see what it does, and it failed. So they didn't lose their rocket. They didn't lose a rocket. They just lost the engine they were testing. And I think it's the second engine test they failed in 20 years. So they're okay. We're still waiting for I was forgetting with New Glenn and New Shepard. Is New Glenn the big one, New Shepard the small one, Monkey? Or is New Shepard the big one and New Glenn's the small one? She's not answering me. I'm not sure which one it is. But anyways, they still have a plan to launch a big rocket, which they'll use to build their moon bases and stuff. It's not as big as Starship, but I can guarantee you it won't get destroyed by the launch pad like Starship was, because that thing... Sigh. Anyway. Rick Oliviera can't afford to pay. Who wrote the code to get to the moon? What? Well, there's a few ladies that wrote the code to get to the moon. But it was pretty much all ladies that did it. Is that it? I'm at the end again? I'm at the end. I got 9 minutes to go. You know what that's time for? That means I can have one peach ring. One peach ring and I'll chew for a little bit. See what pops up. Peach rings are so delicious. They're so good, Monkey. I bet you wish you could have one right now. Simply divine. Well, nothing happened in that great time. Devastator. Have you looked into going off-grid solar? I would love to put solar on this place. But I haven't done it. I don't have... Like, you need a chunk of cash to do the solar, and then you get your tax breaks and all that stuff, and then, like, can pay for itself. But, I don't. I keep using my chunk of cash to buy things like GameStop. BBBYQ, so... 654 is a peach ring or a peach ring. So whatever the Safeway brand peach rings candies are, they're cheap and they're delicious and they taste just like the other ones. So I'm happy. I'm happy paying a discount. Monkey's happy that I'm paying a discount too. I also have a piece of chocolate cake downstairs, which I shouldn't sugar myself out too much with peach rings because I'm gonna eat some chocolate cake as soon as I'm done here. I'm eat some chocolate cake and I'm gonna watch some It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia because it's Wednesday, so the new one came out. Dr. Spurgeon, the sturgeon surgeon, just saying, probably not to our parents nowadays would give the okay to a nuclear power plant. Rick Olivier, thank you. I thought it was 1-1. No, well, there's different people who did coding for different stages of Apollo 1. There's the one lady, showed the picture of her, like, all the stacks of code, that 200,000 Scantron sheets. And then there's the numbers ladies, who basically did all the calculations for getting there, that then got fed into the code. So there's a lot of women who worked on that stuff. Ron Johnson, the Twins finally beat the Mariners. I have no idea how it went tonight. Oh, Twins, yes, 6-0. Beat the Mariners. Goodness gracious. Look at those Twins. Oh, the Mariners are below 500. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Come on, Mariners. That's after the All-Star break. Supposed to turn it on now. Simon Ellison. Hey, Houston. Just woke up in Denmark. Watched you on the PP Show. Great performance. Thank you. Performed. Ron Johnson, when are you putting out a pitching clinic? I got to get my arm in shape, dude. I tired myself out in the warm-up of the 4th of July game. I was like, oh my gosh, I have nothing. My body is not used to throwing a baseball anymore. I need to go like have somebody I can play catch with regularly, because right now there's no gas in this tank. I think I'd be lucky to hit 50 miles an hour right now. It is sad. Like if I were to pitch, you know, mound to home plate, it would do one of these. No straight line, 4-seamer fastball would be like slow pitch. Like I had nothing in my arm. Like, Houston, you want to pitch anything? I'm like, I don't think I can. I can't get the ball from first to second base right now. So I need someone to play. Oh, any MLB trade predictions. Man, I think the only reason the Angels have anyone coming to their games right now is Shohei Ohtani. But Shohei may want to go to a winner. So he may be like, look, dudes, trade me to somebody who's got a chance, and I'll go there, and I want to win a World Series. It doesn't help to be like the coolest, most badass player in the entire world and never go to the playoffs and win anything. I mean, you got dudes like Ken Griffey Jr. who never got to go to the World Series, right? Immortalized in the Hall of Fame, one of the greatest left-handed hitters of all time. He never got to have a ring. And that's something that a lot of dudes like to have. And you got guys like Tim Lincecum, who's an absolute stud. Just an amazing pitcher. You know, had his congenital hip problems, like hip dysplasia, like a lab puppy or something. his short career. But you know, it got 2 Cy Youngs and 2 World Series rings out of it. Maybe 3 World Series rings, 2 World Series rings. Anyway, you know, he took the team to the World Series a couple times and won, and you know then his career's over. Do you want a 20-year career and no World Series? Or do you want a 10-year career and a couple of World Series? I guess it depends on what you want out of that. But Shohei's still pretty young, and he's not going to get a World Series out of the Angels as it is now, because they just don't have the cash to or the willingness to put enough players around him. I mean, it's just like him and Mike Trout, and then a whole bunch of people you never heard of. Basically, they just kind of fill out the roster. Who else, Monkey? I bet the Mets sell everybody. The Mets will probably get rid of everyone for like, I don't know, a handshake and an otter pop or something. Because they don't stand a chance. Cohen, I don't think he can afford the team anymore. So he's probably just going to dump everyone. Hopefully be a penny pincher after that. I mean, they're paying like $100 million out to players that don't play anymore. There's still a huge contract for Beltre and what's his butt who played for the Yankees and the Mariners, and then he signed a giant contract and went to the Mets. He's not playing anymore. You're still paying Bobby Bonilla $1.6 million a year for the next 50 years. This is a boatload of dudes that have these weird back end contracts with New York and the Mets. I mean, it's just the worst negotiation on behalf of the Mets general management. So they'll probably sell everybody. There's no one to sell for the Athletics. They suck. Tampa Bay will probably want to grab some more, shore up the East some more. New York will probably desperately try to get some more players because they're the bottom in the East now, even though they have a great winning record. Yeah. JM, I'd love to see a baseball championship game between the best American and best Japanese teams. I'd love to see that too. Not just it's like, you know, like a Champions League like they have in Europe for soccer, like Champions League of the best commercial teams against each other. I would love to see that too. Thomas George. Hey Houston, happy birthday. I think a baby is spun off. Could stocks in this company be spun off as special dividend? Yes, very much so. I think it can do that exactly. JM, how long did it take you to recover from your skiing accident collision? I didn't have a bicycle accident that I got fucked up. I got hit by a car while I was on a bike, hit and run. That maybe what you're talking about? That took a while. I mean, my bell got rung really hard. It was probably a couple months until my noodle was working right. I missed a lot of school. Had to go to community college. My baseball scholarships. I had to go to community college for a while and get back on the horse and start playing ball again. It was probably a couple months before I was like, headaches are gone. My vision seems to have returned. I'm doing all right. So yeah, it was a little while. Since 54, people are calling the Capitol Police on MTG. Apparently, if they get enough calls, they're forced to investigate it. This is going to get hilarious. MTG is a gauge for Trump's desperation. Good blackmail. A lot of people think that Marjorie Three Names is the pipe bomber. And you look at her gait and the way she swings her arm and the shoes she wears, like, well, it's very possible. They had a hoodie, mask on. They're wearing the exact same pair of shoes she has, and they walk the same way. They look shorter. Like some people said the height estimates for 6 feet, and to me it looks like a much shorter person than someone who's 6 feet tall, like significantly shorter. They walk past like park benches and railings that should be at about 30 inches or so, and this person was not much higher than the railings and park benches. So I think it was someone significantly shorter. I don't know why they're not investigating it further, but I would definitely finger her for it. J. King Houston, you are the Information Variety Store. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Subscribe. If you like the Information Variety Store, help feed my information consuming habit. Feel free to subscribe to Houston with a Problem. JM, you said I got knee messed up. Elbow. So my elbow was messed up from pitching. I tore my tricep tendon. Got that messed up. I did crash once skiing pretty bad. And I thought my knee was permanently destroyed. And it turns out it was just sprained and didn't tear anything. And after a few days, it was fine again. I could go skiing again. That was really terrifying, though. I thought I totally blew out my ACL and MCL, things like that. But my big injury was my elbow. And I can't even see the scars. I don't know. It's too bright. But I have 2 holes somewhere in here where they went in and they scraped out meniscus and the endoscope to see what the tear was like. And then they're like, well, can't do much about it. So we'll just put your arm into this ultrasound machine forever, and hopefully it repairs itself. I don't think it really did. I never had the power. Like, I was throwing 92 to 94 before that injury, and the fastest I ever got again after that was like 88, which wasn't enough to keep anyone interested in my playing days. So it's still messed up. Like, I still get tendonitis in it every once in a while. For about, I don't know, 5 years after I tore it, I could definitely like tell when the weather was changing. It would just be excruciating. Like when a low pressure would come in, I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna rain. Stuff like that. So, but the last time I had it hurt was when I first got Monkey Butt. She likes to pull. You can walk with her and start going a long distance. She'll just trot next to you. But when you first get going, she really wants to like smell everything, and she pulls a lot. And I was getting tendonitis really bad in my elbow when she was a youngster and I first got her. And I was afraid I was gonna have to have surgery again. And they're like, that's just tendonitis. It'll go away. So you almost tore my arm again, Monkey Butt. We know that. I hope you know that. Okay. All right. I'm out. I'm gonna go eat some cake, and watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia because it's Wednesday. See you guys Friday. Let's see where Carvana and Finger go by Friday, and maybe some cool things are gonna happen. Right? Right. Okay. How about one of these? Shrug.